What if I told you I could fit the capability of all of these tools right onto this rifle? Over the course of tens of thousands of rounds I've shot at the range, I've learned how paramount it is to have the right tools to clear malfunctions, change your optic zero, or swap out your expended batteries. Now, for the most part, we are in our homes or in a gun shop, or we're in a place where we have all the Allen keys that we need, we have the vices, we have batteries at the ready, but when you are at the range or you're in a remote field location, it is super important to have at least the bare minimums to clear those malfunctions and keep your gun up and running. So today we're gonna be talking about some maintenance tools you can keep on your rifle and some creative ways to do so. Before we dive right into that, I wanna thank the supporters of this channel. First of all, Multitasker Tools for developing some awesome and super compact multi-use tools like the Nano, the Nano 2, or the Twist. Also, I want to thank Die Free Co. for sending in some DOS boots for the magazines, as well as a plug for the Kung Fu grip. You guys are awesome, both Multitasker Tools and Die Free Co. Thank you again for supporting this channel. Lastly, you, the viewer, you guys are the biggest way that I succeed. So please don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with all of your friends so that we can get the word out there and fight YouTube's algorithm and their censorship. Thanks, let's get back to the video. All right, so diving right in. First things first, what I would recommend you do is buy a bunch of 1/4-inch bits and go through your rifle from stock all the way up to your muzzle device and find the correct bits that you need to either tighten or loosen or adjust every single screw along the way for your rifle. And that includes screws in the back of the stock, pistol grip, optic, zero adjustments, replacing batteries, adjusting your foregrip, your bipod, flashlight, laser, muzzle device, everything. Find all those little tiny screws and pick out the sizes of bits that you need and then place them in this rubber sleeve right here. You can find this at hardware stores. It sometimes comes with multi-tools like Leatherman's or something like that. The Multitasker tool Twist actually came with its own rubber sleeve here. So I'm using 2 of them. And what I've done is I've labeled one with BCM for my BCM, and then another with Cobalt Kinetics for the Cobalt I have here. They're different sets because the rifle has different types of screws on each one. So each one's gonna need different set of bits. Why this is important? It makes it super easy to just find the bit that you need for the correct screw that you need to adjust. So whether it's tightening your bad lever screw or tightening something on the optic mount, you have all of them right here, and you know without a doubt, you don't need to sort through them. You know what you're looking for, whether it's a Torx bit or a flathead, and you can quickly just find that bit, adjust what you need to adjust, and put it right back. With that custom bit set, be sure you can either tighten, loosen, adjust, or even tighten to the torque spec that you need per those screws, per the manufacturer's recommendations. Not required, especially in the field, but it does help to have something like the Fix-It stick adapter so you can properly torque everything down to where it needs to be. So for your optic mount, that's going to be the most important, or the laser. Having something like the Fix-It sticks is going to be extremely important, but they are kind of bulky, especially when compared to the 1/4-inch bits. So it's a little bit harder to keep this on your gun, but what I would do is take this custom set of bits, put it in a rubber sleeve, and then it'll go right into your pistol grip, or if you have a SOP mod stock, you can put it in there. And if it doesn't fit in the sleeve, just take them out, put them in a plastic bag, and it accomplishes the same thing. That way it's a little bit more form-fitting to your pistol grip or to your stock with storage space in there, and you can keep everything right on the rifle. So that's number 1. Number 2, you're going to need a way to use those bits. So something like the Multitasker tool Twist. This thing is absolutely awesome. It comes jam-packed with a bunch of features. Right off the bat, you have an aim point adjustment tool. On the other side, you have a 8/32 male screw for Otis tools for cleaning your rifle. And then even the belt clip can be used as a light duty flathead, which is pretty awesome. So then you take it apart and you have your 1/4 inch driver, which comes with a front sight tool. You can then remove that front sight tool and you have just a regular driver bit here for all those custom bits in the rubber sleeve that you've already made. So right away, you have a useful application for all those custom bits that you just set aside for your rifle. Continuing taking it apart, the other side shows we have 3 cleaning tools for your bolt carrier group. So you have a carbon scraper, a dental hook, and even a punch for whatever you might need it for. And if you don't want those or you don't need them, you can just take them out. And now you're left with really the only piece that you need to go along with your custom bit set, which is the actual screwdriver piece of it. So this tool is absolutely awesome. It comes with 10 1/4 inch bits. I obviously went through them and picked out the ones that I needed and then stored away the ones that I didn't. So now I have the bare essentials. I have my custom bit set with the sleeve and the Multitasker TWIST to go along with it. And I can store this inside my pistol grip or inside a stock that has storage space. So let's say you don't have room in your rifle to store this custom bit set. There are other options for bare minimum essentials, and the Multitasker tools Nano and Nano 2 are fantastic options. And actually the Nano 1st gen completely replaces the piece of the twist that has the aim point tool and the flathead part for the belt clip, because it actually has its own aim point tool and flathead on it. So these tools do one and the same. And I would also argue that the Nano 1 has an even better use because you can use the side of it as a wide way to adjust your battery caps and remove your battery caps for replacement. So essentially the Nano 1 is the side of the twist and it's a lot smaller, so you can store this right on your rifle. The Nano 2 is great because it offers a little bit of a different set of tools. It has a T10 Torx bit on one side and then a smaller flathead on the other, but it still has the wide flathead for battery cap removal, and it also has a lanyard hole just like the other one. Now, since the Multitasker tool Nanos are extremely small, you're gonna need some ways to retain them so you don't lose them. So first of all, also from Multitasker tool, you're gonna have the Magpod. You can store your Nano right here on the back of the Magpod. It just slides right in. And for those who don't know, you can use a bullet or a small punch to press in that plastic retainer pin and then remove the Nano. So it will not come out on its own. And I think that's pretty cool that it stores right on the magazine. However, there's a few downsides with this system. Number one, the Magpod tends to turn into a monopod when you are up on an angle or having to shoot at weird uneven surfaces, because we're almost never shooting on a perfectly flat table surface. So Die-Free-Co has actually developed the DOS boot, and this magazine extension has multiple benefits to it. First and foremost, it can carry 2 extra rounds in your magazine, so it turns a 20 round into a 22 rounder, which is awesome. But also, the base of this magazine extension has a little bit more room for rolling your rifle at different angles. So it's not going to turn your rifle into a completely unstable monopod balancing on the corner of it, because you can roll the rifle to match whatever angle of elevation that you're shooting at. However, that now presents the issue that I can no longer carry my Nano tool on the back of my magazine. So where do I put it? Well, Die-Free-Co has also addressed that, and in their Kung Fu grip, they have the plug. The plug is great because you can store the Nano tool right in the middle. There are 2 slots where the Nano tool just slides right in there, and now it is retained inside of my pistol grip. So whenever I need it, I just pull out the plug and I got it right here. Also, as I said before, the Nano tool 1st gen, number 1, replaces about half of the Multitasker tool Twist. So this side with the aim point tool and the light duty flathead, I don't really need anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the screwdriver portion of the Twist, I'm gonna take my Nano tool, and I'm going to take the male end for Otis tools just in case I need it, and it's all going to go right inside the Die-Free-Co grip plug. Just like that. So now I have screwdriver, Nano tool, and the Otis male end, and it goes right inside the Kung Fu grip, and it fits nice and snug. So now I'm able to carry a means of using my custom bit set. I actually haven't built one out for this rifle yet. I need to go ahead and go through all of the screws that I need to adjust and build a 3rd one of these to make sure I have everything in order for this particular rifle. So aside from the stability issues that I have with the Magpod, the second issue I have with storing your Nano tools on the Magpod is that it's only stored on this particular magazine. So if I want it to be stored on every single magazine, I'd have to buy multiple nanos, multiple Magpods, and put them on all of my magazines. This system is great, especially when you're just at the range zeroing your rifle, but in real world applications, there are better ways to do it. Emissary Development has built a nano carrier, which is just as small as the Nano and Nano 2. You can get it in both Picatinny and M-LOK mounting options. And what this does is it actually retains your nano tool right on your rail system. So you can either get Gen 1 or Gen 2. The only difference is Gen 1 is passive retention, so it's just holding your tool in there by friction alone. And this might have a risk of your nano popping loose if you bump it on something. So I actually recently purchased the Gen 2 nano carrier, and these are awesome because they have active retention. There's a small lever on the side that once you install your nano into the carrier, you press the lever on the side and the nano comes right out. But you don't have to worry about it falling out because it's not just friction. It is actively retaining your nano on your rifle with very minimal risk of it being bumped by accident because the lever is so small. So with it having a M-LOK mounting option and a Picatinny mounting option, you can mount it wherever you have room on your rifle. For this BCM, I keep it on the right side because that is least likely to get bumped by my kit. It's also not taking up any Picatinny rail space, which as you can see on this rifle is prime real estate. So I don't want to take away any of my capabilities. So I put it right here and I have the active retention Gen 2 where I keep my nano tool. Another great on-gun maintenance tool to have is your cleaning and unjamming rod. This allows you to clear malfunctions such as squib rounds inside of your barrel, which make your rifle effectively useless, as well as brass that is expanded inside the chamber, particularly high round count barrels and chambers. And without being able to clear those malfunctions, your rifle has now turned into a paperweight. So I would argue, especially for your go-to or SHTF rifle setup, it is pretty important to have a cleaning unjamming rod mounted to your rifle or on your body, on your kit somewhere, because those malfunctions absolutely need to be cleared immediately in order to get your rifle back in the fight. And there are certain ways you can mount it. Number one, you can just zip tie it or tape it to your rifle. That is totally a viable option. However, Black Hills Design also makes the rescue rod, and this allows you to mount it right onto your rail system. It just snaps right in, and now your cleaning rod is mounted right onto your rail system. If you don't want to have that in the way or taking up rail space, you can also buy the Samson Manufacturing SOP rod, and that's going to go inside of a SOP mod stock, and it's going to be a full cleaning rod setup that stores right back here in the stock. So no need to mess with your rail system or take up any Picatinny precious rail space. You can just store it right here in the stock. The same company, Black Hills Design, also makes battery holders that are shaped like magazines. So you can have it in your kit on your body and you have a full set of battery replacements for your optics and your lights, lasers, everything you need. Additionally, you can store batteries inside of your stock, whether it's a Magpod stock that has the storage space or something like the B5 SOP mod or the LMT. There's battery storage slots in those kinds of stocks, and you can keep other things in there like the twist or a full set of replacement batteries or Skittles. What's also cool about the Die-Free-Co plug is that instead of having the Multitasker tool twist in here, you can have a full set of replacement batteries for your light, whether it's a 18650 or CR123, because these holes inside the grip will be able to retain your battery. It is not perfectly waterproof, and I have heard that this tends to fall out in cold weather, so be aware of that. Make whatever adjustments that you need to make, or you can just put your batteries inside of a plastic bag to keep them waterproof. Similar to the Die-Free-Co plug, I also use the BCM pistol grip on both my Cobalt and the BCM, and I store a full battery set in here. Like I said before, I keep it wrapped in plastic just to preserve it and make sure the batteries don't corrode with water exposure. Every device I use on this gun in particular uses CR123s. So usually I keep 3 batteries in there. Right now I only have 2, but this gives me a replacement for my EOTech and my laser, as well as the mod light if I needed to run it off of 2 CR123s. It does run off of 18650s as well, so it'd be ideal to have one of those because the power output would be better, but this will do in a pinch. I can replace any of my electronic devices on my rifle with this stored inside of the pistol grip. There are also a couple other creative ways that you can store extra batteries for your optic on your gun. I know Raidworks makes the RSR, the red dot storage riser, and you can actually get Aimpoint Micro T2 battery caps that store another battery inside of the cap. So in a pinch, you can use risers like that also get your optic up to a nice height for gas masks and night vision use, but have an extra added benefit of storing a battery inside of that mount or inside of that extra battery cap. Lastly, I know this isn't on-gun maintenance tools, but this is something that I like to do in order to bring everything with me to the range. I use this S3 case here to store all of my extra tools, batteries, tape, optic levels, even a little mini wrench right here for torquing things down. And then I have bits stored in extra plastic bags, some Loctite, just anything I could possibly need while I'm at the range to work on my gun and keep it up and running. What's also cool about this S3 case is it's waterproof, so anything that you have in there will not rust with water exposure to the outside of the case. So yes, it is ideal to have all of the tools necessary to work on your gun. And that's really gonna happen right here at home or at a gun shop where you have things like a vise, you got a full Allen set and torque set available to you. But in a pinch, whether you're out on the range or out in the field, it is absolutely paramount to have not every tool, but the right tools. So start out, make your custom bit set, go all over your rifle, be hyper specific and pay attention to detail on which screws you need to be able to adjust, build out that bit set, and then store tools on your gun. So with the mindset of being prepared and being an asset to your small group or even to yourself, make sure you're planning ahead and you're looking all over your rifle. What do you need? What are the most important things to be able to replace if something goes down? Do you need an extra bolt? Do you need extra batteries? Do you need extra screws? Think about all of the scenarios you could possibly find yourself in. Make sure you're thinking ahead, planning for it, planning for contingencies, and staying prepared. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch you in the next one.